When we talk to each other, it's usually at a distance of about 90 centimeters to 1.2 meters, and at that distance, pores aren't really visible. It's only when you look very closely in front of a makeup mirror that they tend to stand out. So in those cases, actually pores. Hello, this is Sehuno from Clinique Huju. Today, I will be talking about pores. When we talk about pores, people often ask questions like, how should I apply makeup? How should I remove makeup? Or what happens if I sleep with my makeup on? Of course, if you use a lot of foundation and go to bed without washing your face, or if you forcibly try to squeeze out blackheads, those are bad habits that can cause your pores to enlarge. However, just as important as those things are your diet, lifestyle habits, and sleep. So, since it seems like people tend to overlook those aspects, I'd like to explain pores and pore treatments by including those factors as well. There are several types of enlarged pores, but they can generally be classified into three main categories. The first is when there is excessive sebum production. The second is when the skin loses elasticity on the surface and the pores become enlarged as a result. And the third is when blackheads or fine hairs are embedded, causing the pores to appear larger. This first case, where there is a lot of sebum production, is most strongly influenced by genetics, but lifestyle habits also have a significant impact. If you look at this graph, you can see that highly westernized eating habits are shown to increase the amount of sebum secretion. So, if you eat too many refined carbohydrates, too many dairy products, or too much saturated fat, in other words, if you consume a lot of greasy or overly sweet foods, the amount of sebum increases, which leads to enlarged pores and more acne. Therefore, improving your eating habits in this way will also help reduce pore size. The quality of sleep is also closely related to pores. This was studied by the Amur Pacific Research Institute, where they observed pore size after depriving subjects of sleep. They found that pores, which were previously small, became more prominent. In such cases, there are various treatments you can try. Of course, improving your lifestyle habits will help, and lasers like Virtue, Adva, or Thermage, which can reduce sebum, may also be beneficial. When skin elasticity decreases, pores tend to stretch as well. Instead of simply becoming rounder and larger, pores can become elongated and oval-shaped. Therefore, it's best to avoid habits that reduce skin elasticity. You should be careful about sun exposure, and quitting smoking will naturally be helpful. Additionally, fine dust and similar factors can also negatively affect skin elasticity, so you need to be cautious about them as well. In these cases, using lasers that can improve skin elasticity is helpful. Besides that, skin boosters that can increase collagen, such as Juvelook, Regeran, or Dermotoxin, can also be beneficial. Lastly, in the case of blackheads, it's best to remove the blackheads themselves. Treatments like hydrofacial or pore care can help. And since blackheads are black in color, using lasers that target black pigments can significantly reduce blackheads. After using a laser to remove blackheads, you can see that the pores have shrunk and the nose looks much cleaner. When patients come in because they're concerned about their pores, in reality, they often have other issues as well, but many tend to focus too much on their pores. So in many cases, concerns about pores are more about personal satisfaction. When we talk to each other, it's usually from about 90 centimeters to 1.2 meters away, and at that distance, pores aren't really visible. In fact, they tend to stand out only when you look very closely in front of a makeup mirror. So in those cases, there are often other, more urgent issues to treat than pores. So personally, I don't think there's a need to be overly concerned about pores. Of course, if your pores are really severe or if they bother you a lot, there are various treatments that can help, and personally, I think different lifestyle habits can also be beneficial. So today, I talked about pores like this. Thank you.